Today on our 2017 Chevrolet Colorado, we will be taking a look at the SMI Air Force One supplemental braking system as part of a complete flat tow setup. We will also be using Roadmaster's EZ5 baseplate kit, Roadmaster's universal high power diode wiring kit, Roadmaster's battery disconnect kit, and Roadmaster's Nighthawk all-terrain non-binding tow bars. This supplemental braking system is going to give you truly proportional braking on your towed vehicle using the air supply from your motorhome. The air umbilical cord connected between your motorhome and your vehicle is going to provide that air to the units installed on the vehicle that will activate the cylinder, applying the brake pedal. You'll have a safety breakaway switch as well in case of a catastrophic disconnect. This will pull the pin, applying the brakes on your vehicle to help it come to a safe stop. As you can see here, when I pull the pin, it's going to apply the brake pedal. When you're normally driving the vehicle, pressing the brakes in your motorhome, it's going to apply the brakes here on your vehicle to help it stop along with your motorhome. There's also an LED indicator installed in the back of the mirror, and this will illuminate when your brake pedal is being applied by your braking system. You can look at this through the camera in your motorhome, observing your vehicle behind you, and this way you can be sure that your braking system is working properly. We'll begin installing our main components under the hood. Your operating control box we're going to place underneath our coolant bottle. Our customer already had a heater outlet for engine and transmission heaters installed there, so we just placed the Air Force One unit underneath of his heater junction box. If you don't have the heater junction box, you'll have even more room and it'll be easier to install your Air Force One unit in the same location. You also need to mount your breakaway switch and your airline connection point. We've mounted these on top of the bumper beam. Best time to do this is when you're installing your base plate. For our airline connector, we did use a short bracket, which you can pick up here at etrailer.com, to extend it out to make it easier to access. Mounted on our brake pedal, we have our actuating cylinder. This just clamps around the pedal. You want to position it as low as possible where it will not interfere with normal driving. And on the back of the firewall there, you can see we cut out a little bit of the insulation for our anchor point. We just used a self-tapping screw that came with the kit to mount that anchor. And the last major component you're going to need to mount is the LED indicator on the back side of your mirror. This just sticks on with the double-sided tape that's pre-installed on the LED. You'll then take your wiring and you're going to route it, pushing it in the fender liner down to the edge, and you're just going to keep pushing it behind the weather stripping all the way down to your lower left kick panel area. This LED is then going to connect to the reed switch located on your operating cylinder. You will have to run a power wire inside, and you'll also have to connect a ground wire. The ground wire can just go right here inside. We mounted ours just right up underneath the dash using a self-tapping screw. You can see our airline tube here. This is going to go from our control box, from the outlet port, across, and then through a grommet in the firewall just to the left of our brake booster here. That'll go inside and you'll just plug it into your cylinder on your brake pedal. Also coming from your control box, you're going to need to route an airline from the inlet port on the box up to the front to the connection for the airline that we had mounted behind our bumper. Our breakaway switch wiring is going to split. You can see the orange wire goes off towards the driver's side. This is going to need to connect to our battery positive post. There is a fuse harness that comes with the kit that you want to make sure you use so that way that circuit is protected. The other wire on our breakaway switch is going off towards the passenger side, and this is going to make its way over to that control box and hook up to one of the black wires. The other black wire in your control box just hooks to ground. On your RV, you're going to need to mount the relay valve. This has its own little compressor tank on it. You just need to find any suitable place to mount this. Just ensure that the diaphragm is not facing up on the bottom of the relay valve. You'll then need to make your airline connections to it. The one that goes to the tank here is your air supply line. The one that goes here between the relay valve and the tank is your metered air. And the line coming out of the other side of our relay valve is the output that goes back to your airline connection on the back of the vehicle. The location where you'll tap into your supply air and your metered air is going to vary depending on your motorhome. You'll need to find the most appropriate spot for you. At the rear, we use the self-tapping screws that came with our kit to mount the connection point on the motorhome side. Now we just need to hook it up to our motorhome and place our vehicle into tow mode. So you want to make sure that you hook up your airline your breakaway switch cable, of course your tow bars, your electrical connections, and your safety cables. And that completes our look at the SMI Air Force One supplemental braking system on our Chevrolet Colorado.